Oh dear.
Why it went at
Isn't it
385?
nice
He
to
just
say?
went to 285. He lost 100 pounds. It's ridiculous.
I got it.
It's bad.
I got another one that's, he's a sixth grader, I think, or fifth grader. He's about 7. Dude's gonna be nasty.
They're weird. Repeat.
Are we up?
My son's,
Oh, I see.
What's that doing
No
there?
idea.
Hey, see the little fat kid going to the show.
Whoa, no, we don't wanna watch
We're good to go?
it. We don't wanna watch it. What are you doing?
Are we ready? I think you have like a YouTube channel up or something. What are you doing?
I'm trying to. Let's,
All right, everyone, I think we're ready to begin.
all set.
Welcome back. This is the regular monthly meeting for the Tioga County Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022 at 4:30. The meeting is hereby called to order. Christine, could we have an attendee roll call, please?
Jen Ceccarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Martha Saffray. John Ward.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Tracy Manow.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
The first item on the agenda, we have no privilege of the floor this evening. I'm seeking a motion to approve the December meeting minutes, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jen Ceccarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
Tracy Manow.
Second agenda on the item is our financials. Aaron and John, do you have any comments related to that?
Didn't see any problem.
We just keep spending money, right? Yeah, okay. Could I have a motion, please, to acknowledge the financials? Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Jen Ceccarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yeah.
Tracy Manow.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda, Grandma Tinny.
She joined us.
Has she got it?
Oh, no.
Where's Grandma Tinny?
I'm here. Yes. Big news. Eleanor Lee Lindsay.
That's a beautiful name.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So EDP update, I'll make it quick. I'm at home. We did have to get tested. I did get a negative test about half an hour ago. So I'll be back in the office tomorrow. So I'm at home right now. As far as EDP update, things are just moving along. We got the, looks like we'll have the okay from the legislature for the hire of our education workforce coordinator, Sean Lanning, has accepted the position. So we anticipate that he'll be starting with us on January 31st. So we're really excited about that to bring him on board. And the Liberty Temple housing project still working through the local approval process with the village. We're hoping that the village planning board will meet this month to move that process forward. Just as an FYI, for those of you who know Jeff Souls, he's had some surgery recently. He's not doing very well. He's at Robert Packer right now, so please keep him in our thoughts. He's struggling right now, so I don't know, a few of you probably know Jeff. As far as anything else, I'm sorry, I don't have my stuff in front of me. Construction on our new space continuing to move forward, probably March before we're down there, get moved down. And some other things that we'll talk about in executive.
Thanks, Leanne. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Christine, you can move on with new business.
So we're seeking a motion to approve the inducement resolution for the pilot application from American Pride Solar. Bringing that up for your viewing. What do you say?
We might as well change our name to
Giant mirror.
Industrial Solar Development.
Okay.
That's good. He's home.
So resolution accepting an application from American Pride Solar or a related entity to be later named to the company for a lease-leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of a 340,000 square foot manufacturing and warehouse facility and parking lot at 1200 Taylor Road and 244 Broadway Ave in the town of Owego, Tioga County, New York, to provide a sales and use tax exemption, mortgage tax exemption, and a real property tax exemption, and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing. Seeking motions.
San Mita property, yeah.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, Jen Chicarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Eric Knowles,
Yes.
Aaron Gowen.
Yeah.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Thank you. So up next, it was recommended we might want to take another look at our solar policy. This perhaps is Joe.
Who's recommending?
Hello, this is Joe, if you can hear me. I just got in, okay?
Yes, Joe, we can hear you.
I think I'm just on the phone too, although I can see you guys.
Yes, your mic is, not-
Okay,
you're not doubled, so you're
All right.
perfect.
okay, great.
Let's not get carried away.
Perfect.
It's not Well,
I've heard that before.
Okay, so can,
Hey, moving forward.
so on our solar policy, we updated this previously over the summer and we added this little caveat at the bottom that says the IDA reserves the right to deviate from the terms of this policy at our sole discretion. But it's been requested by one of our members that we take a deeper look at this section right here where it suggests a range of pilot payment per megawatt and that we should consider removing that. So seeking your approval in doing so, please.
Remove it, yeah.
So I would like to add that we have put out an RFP and we have what looks like with legislative approval, which will come this week, we will be hiring MRB Group to do a solar practices, best practices study, and take a look at, what is typical in the area, what fees we should be looking at, what should we be considering. We're talking about decommissioning and all of that. And our intention was to use that to assist the municipalities when they're negotiating on a pilot, as we're seeing that most of these solar companies are actually dealing directly with the towns or villages where the project is going to be located and not coming through the IDA. And so we're just looking to provide guidance to those municipalities because they don't really have the capacity or sometimes the understanding of what they should be asking for. So this week, Friday, I believe, we're meeting with the consultant for the first time on Friday to start putting that together. So that document is coming. And, obviously it will hopefully provide some guidance to the IDA as well.
So do we want to mess with this now, or are we just waiting and doing the whole after we know what's going on?
I think we ought to get this out of there. Yes.
Especially
based on
recent
discussions. Yeah, because somebody's gonna use this against us.
Seeking a motion to revise this and get it out of there.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mhm.
Jen Chicarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Eric Knowles,
Yes.
Aaron Gowen,
Yes.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We're removing the cap on the range.
That was a great idea, John. Thank you
And
for
then the
picking up.
last statement of the.
Yep.
It's all new.
Yep.
And thanks, John Ward, for serving on the committee that is working with this MRB group. Okay, proceeding to Owego Gardens 2 update. Jamie, you still with us?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I had to unmute myself.
No, that's, thank you for joining us. Would you please share your in-depth update with the board since you can provide more detail than I can?
Sure.
Thank you.
So as we all know, the big item of concern right now is just to finalize the water system project. And that requires the electric component. The IDA and Suez have been in discussions on how to proceed on that. And we believe we have an outline of how we should finalize this. And in response to that, we had a discussion with our two contractors, Aquastore and Robinson. And so Robinson is going to solicit from their subcontractors updated numbers, which we don't have right now, but we're going to have them very soon, on the items that were required as part of the health department approval. Now, there were some additional items that have been requested that they would like us to look at, they being Suez, in regards to what they deem additional requirements. But we're going to break that out separately so we can evaluate. We have Fagan Engineers is meeting with Suez and Robinson and Patterson, the electrician for Suez, tomorrow morning at the pump station to just go over a couple of things to make sure we're all on the same page from a delineation point of view. One good note, some of you may know this, but there's just been so many supply chain issues. We were having a most difficult time getting the pumps information out of Suez, but then their pump supplier really kind of dropped off the face of the earth when we were trying to get the actual pumps in hands. We actually have the pumps and VFDs in hand. So we're able to actually proceed with the work. So, you know, we're going to be able to make the schedule for home leasing to support from their point of view, as long as these things keep falling in line, which we're anticipating will. It's going to take a lot of hand holding. I apologize to Leanne and Christine for the number of meetings we've had on this, but it seems like with all these different players involved, we just have to do that. So we've been focused on that for a little bit of time now. So tomorrow we'll have another meeting that should get us a big step forward. So that's a good sign.
If you all remember, there were pieces of the system that were not included in the original bid documents because we were unable to obtain the information that we needed from Suez to be able to include them and get the bid packet out. So, you know, I know I've mentioned this to, you know, a few times, but there will be another number coming that will include those items that were missing, as well as Jamie has suggested, possibility of other items that Suez would like to include. At this point right now, the position that we've taken with Suez pretty clearly has been, we will build to the specification as required by Department of Health and not above that. As a matter of fact, we'll be discussing even removing the asphalt from the drive. But that's going to be probably determined by, we have to still get to who's going to take ownership of the parcel. So there's question on whether the tank parcel and access road to the tank will remain in the name of the IDA and that we will lease it to Suez, or that we will assign that property directly over to Suez. So we're in conversation with Suez on that right now. Not really sure where that's going to go or what they're not really saying what their preference is. I think they would like to take ownership of it, but they have concerns over the maintenance of the culverts that had to be put in on the drive, the access drive up to the tank. So we've got to work through that yet. But as Jamie mentioned, I do feel like we are inching closer to being able to, you know, close this piece out, hopefully here pretty soon. Jamie, did Robinson give any indication on when they might be able to be on site to get their part going again?
They really want to have a comprehensive understanding exactly what's in their court now.
Okay,
I think that's part of our meeting tomorrow is just to, go through that spreadsheet that has been prepared by us and IDA and Suez to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
That's really the big concern. And that's not to get too much inside baseball, but some of this work was to be done under Aquastore's contract, and some was to be done under Robinson's contract. However, if we did it under Aquastore's contract, well, there would be a sub to a sub, so there'd be markups both ways. So we were able to get Aquastore to agree to leave some of their work out of their contract and put it into the Robinson contract, so we're only having one markup. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it saves us 5%. So
yeah, so the bottom line to that whole conversation is that there will be change orders coming. We are rolling some things in under existing existing contract of either Aquastore or Robinson, rather than have to take them, out to bid. We're going to view them as change orders and include them in one of those two contracts, either A, B, or C. So, just giving a heads up, there will be change orders coming.
Everything that they touch, is garbage, everything.
Can we
Never seen
have the
it.
board see the dollar figures fairly quickly on a basis?
So,
Not just me.
Well, and the other piece on this that I'm curious about is a lot of times we want to run an NTE, not to exceed, right? Like where we're at on this, it just sounds like we're building as we go. And that's a dangerous thing to do, right? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know, honestly. I've never even been to the place. I don't know what's coming down the pipe, but just, that's the only thing to protect ourselves when we look at these. If you do an NTE, then at least it's got to come back to you.
Our problem is our hands are tied in Suez,
Yeah,
pretty much entire. That's
kind of what I've learned in the last couple of years.
If they hadn't been involved in this whole thing, we'd done with it and everything was built. I've never seen anything like it. They gotta fight us every step of the way.
and as a board, we really don't want to be responsible for that.
No.
Down the road.
No, we want them to own it.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem with that is they're probably gonna build the hell out of everybody in the village when they own it. Are we gonna be the bad guys there?
So I can answer that a little bit,
Yep.
if you don't mind. So, well, first off, any of their billings has to go through PSC. So if they want any rate changes, you have the PSC to protect you a little bit. Number two is, even if it is a lease piece, I would highly recommend that it's the lease would state that the tenant maintains and operates the whole system, and that includes the drainage. They knew this was going to be they knew the design, they knew what was there. The original intent was to dedicate the property over to them. Just from my point of view, I don't think the IDA wants to have maintenance of any element of this as it goes, just because they're going to be the ones on site. Otherwise, you're going to have someone go and visit, whether it's DPW or soil and water or whatever entity you can get to do it. They're going to be on site daily. Let them own and operate and maintain it. But that's my recommendation.
So I would agree with you, Jamie, and I think they're heading in that direction. But I think they're going to play a little bit, I'm getting a hint that they're going to play a little bit of hardball on that, whether it's a gravel or asphalt drive. If they're going to take over ownership of it, they're
Mhm.
going to want it to be asphalt. And we kind of lose our leverage a little bit on that. If we were keeping it, maintaining it, we could say, hey, it's our problem, we'll put it to whatever, asphalt or gravel, whatever we want. But if we put it over to them, I just anticipate that that's a pushback, that they're gonna push back and want that to be an asphalt drive and not gravel.
I got two comments. This is Kevin. First, I want to reiterate, who's the idiot that gave up the water rights in this village? And we should have his name and put him in lights.
It was
Him,
John
her, it.
Schaefer. John Schaefer, who was mayor for 4 terms.
Publicly named.
That's who it was, yeah.
My second,
Asking that for like a year.
my second
Owl.
comment, I don't like working with these people one bit. I want to go on record that there's never been an opportunity to have any project that included these folks go anything that was close to smooth or on budget. And if you think working with them like this is a pain, try working for them, which is what you'll be doing if you don't get this land deeded over to them.
Agreed.
That's all I got. It's my warm fuzzy of the day.
It's in Leanne's hands, Christine's hands, and Fagan's hands, Jamie's hands.
Okey dokey.
Okay.
Make the
Thank you
property.
much.
Now, one other thing that I want to be clarified, which Joe did have a conversation with Christine and I on, and I just want to make sure the board is aware as well, is there was some question if the IDA were to, well, wait a minute, we're not gonna look at that. We're not gonna do lease. Never mind. We're gonna have them own it. There was some question on payment of real property taxes if we were to lease it to them, but if we sign it over to them, it doesn't matter. They're gonna pay the taxes on it, so. And I know, nobody's said anything about a pilot on it. We haven't brought it up to them directly. I don't know if they'll ask for that. If they do take ownership of it. I suspect I know what the response to that would be if they were to ask, but just so you know, so
How do
far
you know
it
that?
hasn't, so far it hasn't been asked, so.
How do you know that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Jamie.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's move on, Christine.
So the Lounsbury Power Study is still in progress. We're waiting a final report. The year-end audit is scheduled to start next Monday. We actually got started today through just sending them the files that they need. I think I had, let me get back to that. And Jan Nolis was in for quarterly review. I just realized I skipped a piece of information. I'm going to skip back to just to let you all know, Megan and I have been working with Brian Goodrich from the GIS office, working on compiling a property database to be accessible on the EDMP and IDA websites. Similar to the Broome County Agency, they list out all of their vacant land and vacant buildings and some specs for them. It's easily viewable and browsable. So
Nice.
we're working on that, anticipating it within 2 to 3 months to be complete. So back to, we have no governance or finance committee reports. Under the loan committee, advising you all that Sam Thomas has resigned from the loan committee. He's a retired banker that's been with us for a very long time, and he's just ready to settle in. Just wanted to share with you this resolution from the Tioga County Legislature. It authorizes IDA to keep the COVID-19 loan late fees. They're not a substantial amount, but actually Aaron had requested that we do this. So now we have formal permission to keep all late fees collected for this loan program, and the remainder of the funds will be returned to the county as the original HUD fund. And we have sales tax reports continuing to be submitted, and all are within their authorized amounts. 2021 pilot payment summary here for you all to view. It's let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Kevin, can you see this, and Leanne?
Well, it's on my phone. I can see it, but I ain't sure what's on it.
So this is one of the reports we submit to the New York State Comptroller. It's summarizing for all of our pilot agreements what the full taxation would have been here. So these are what the 100% taxes would be. Then we showed their pilot payment amounts broken out into county, local, and school. And then we showed the total exemption amount for real property taxes, any sales tax exemptions, and then we come up with a total exemption for all companies of a little over 5 million for the year. And the last thing under pilot updates is a pilot application revision. So often we have a hard time understanding the breakdown between materials and labor. So this revision is simply just to ask the company to make that very clear from the start. If I could ever pull it up here. So I'm seeking a motion to approve these changes. Shown on page 16, if I can. Or if you've all already reviewed it and feel comfortable seeking a motion, please. Here we go. Okay, so these are the changes. It's simply just adding these little breakdowns. Yeah, it's asking for the separation. And that's all it is. Oh, and then
So
we,
moved.
thank you.
Second.
Cool. And we just kind of broke this out a little bit to make it more clear.
Need a vote, Christine?
Jen Ceccarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Aaron Gowen.
Yeah.
Tracy Manell.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got Eric.
Skippy. I'm never
Eric
here.
Knowles.
Yes, that's all I'm a guest of that.
So our application regarding the Richford Railroad grant to FEMA is still pending. We did receive a word that the Southern Tier 8 grant was denied. We were hopeful that would fund our industrial hub infrastructure, but it will not. And that's all for regular session.
Motion to move into executive session, please. Second. Thank you.
Second.